Back to the channel. Today we're going to unravel some incredibly complex events in Genoa. Rumors are circulating around the Newman family, but what's the truth? In this video, I'll summarize the plot points that will be revealed in the next episode. Stay tuned to see what happens. Welcome back, passionate viewers, to our channel. Today is a beautiful day, but the skies over Genoa City are growing incredibly dark. We have a whirlwind of shocking revelations and dark conspiracies that will leave you absolutely breathless. Let us step straight into the unfolding drama and uncover the sinister secrets hiding in plain sight. The pristine facade of Genoa City has been violently shattered, leaving its elite residents drowning in terror. Jack Abbott, the indomitable patriarch of the Abbott dynasty, lies broken and bleeding, the victim of a brutal stabbing that has sent shockwaves through town. The sight of Jack reduced to a fragile state on a sterile hospital bed has ignited a firestorm of panic. Blood stains the floors of the Abbott estate, a chilling testament to the malice that infiltrated their sanctuary. As sirens wail, the entire city holds its collective breath, desperate for answers. But in a town where shadows conceal lies, truth is the most dangerous weapon. Who truly wielded the blade that brought Jack Abbott to his knees? And what darker forces are pulling the strings? In the chaotic aftermath of the bloody assault, a sinister realization dawns upon the true perpetrators. Patty Williams, her hands stained with Jack's blood, finds herself cornered alongside the deeply corrupt doctor. Lawrence Markham. The horrifying reality crashes down upon them. Diane Jenkins has managed to escape Markham's twisted captivity, leaving their meticulously crafted illusion on the brink of collapse. If Diane reaches the authorities, or if Jack awakens to speak the truth, Patty and Markham face the absolute annihilation of their freedom. The walls of their conspiracy are closing in, forcing these unstable minds into a desperate corner. Will this unholy alliance shatter under the mounting pressure, or will their desperation forge an even deadlier weapon? Driven by the primal instinct to survive and a sociopathic detachment from morality, Patty and Markham forge a terrifyingly potent alliance. They know that simply hiding the truth is no longer sufficient. They must completely obliterate Diane Jenkins from the board. Their dark pact is a vow to construct a labyrinth of lies so intricate that the authorities and the Abbott family will never see the truth. Markham, utilizing his psychological manipulation skills, and Patty, wielding her chaotic malice, begin to weave a narrative designed to destroy Diane. They operate with a chilling efficiency, their minds synchronized in the singular goal of self-preservation at the cost of an innocent woman's life. How far are these sociopaths willing to go to ensure their survival? The execution of their sinister frame-up is a masterclass in psychological warfare. Patty and Markham systematically plant false clues, carefully designing a trail of breadcrumbs that leads directly to Diane Jenkins. They manipulate digital records and strategically place physical evidence to construct a damning picture. Their goal is to paint her as the ultimate cold-blooded mastermind of the entire tragedy. They want the world to believe that Diane orchestrated her own kidnapping as a brilliant diversion, a smokescreen to hide her murderous intent toward her husband. Every fabricated detail exploits Diane's controversial past, making the lies undeniably plausible. Will anyone be able to see through this flawlessly constructed mirage, or is Diane destined to fall? The most devastating aspect of Patty and Markham's conspiracy is their calculated assault on the Abbott family's trust, specifically targeting Kyle Abbott. They know that Diane's greatest strength is the unwavering protection of her son. To truly isolate and destroy her, they must sever that sacred bond. Markham and Patty ensure the fabricated evidence falls perfectly into Kyle's hands, presenting a narrative so horrifying that it begins to erode his faith. They plant seeds of doubt, twisting her recent actions to look like calculated malice. The psychological poison seeps into the Abbott mansion, turning a united family into a fractured house of suspicion. Can a mother's love withstand such a vicious, targeted campaign of psychological sabotage? As the meticulously planted clues take root, the atmosphere within the Abbott family turns toxic with suspicion and heartbreak. Tracy, Ashley, and even the fiercely loyal Kyle begin to look at Diane through a lens of terrifying doubt. The narrative spun by Patty and Markham is insidious, preying on the family's deepest vulnerabilities. Every tear Diane sheds is scrutinized. Every desperate plea for belief is met with agonizing hesitation. The isolation Diane feels is profound, a suffocating darkness as she realizes that the people she loves most are slowly turning against her, poisoned by lies they cannot disprove. She is trapped in a nightmare where her own family is weaponized to ensure her destruction. Is there any hope left for redemption or truth? Just as Patty and Markham's dark victory seems absolute, a miraculous and terrifying variable is introduced into their equation. In the sterile confines of the intensive care unit, Jack Abbott's eyelids flutter, and he slowly claws his way back from the depths of his coma. His awakening sends a jolt of electricity through Genoa City, offering a beacon of hope to his devastated family and a surge of absolute panic to his attackers. However, Jack's return to the waking world is fraught with confusion. His mind is a fractured mirror, his memories shattered into disjointed fragments. Yet, amidst the foggy haze of his trauma, the lingering images do not belong to Diane. The face that haunts his broken memories belongs unmistakably to Patty Williams. Will these fragile memories pierce through the veil of deception? The news of Jack's awakening and his fuzzy memory fragments strikes Patty and Markham like a physical blow. Their elaborately constructed frame-up hinges on Jack either remaining silent forever or waking up with no memory of the truth. The realization that Jack's subconscious is clinging to the image of Patty throws their alliance into a state of frantic, terrified chaos. They know that if Jack is given time to heal, his memories will inevitably solidify, exposing their entire conspiracy and sending them to prison. The ticking clock of Jack's cognitive recovery becomes their greatest enemy. They are no longer just fighting to frame Diane. They are fighting a desperate battle against the healing power of the human brain. How can they silence a man surrounded by a fiercely protective family? Driven by absolute desperation, Patty and Markham realize they must aggressively intervene in Jack's recovery before his memories fully crystallize. Utilizing Markham's medical authority, they initiate a horrific campaign of psychological manipulation and gaslighting right inside Jack's hospital room. Markham uses his psychiatric expertise to convince Jack, the doctors, and the Abbott family that these emerging memories of Patty are mere trauma-induced hallucinations. He argues persuasively that Jack's mind, unable to process the betrayal of his wife Diane, has projected the face of a historical antagonist onto the event. Patty subtly reinforces this narrative, twisting Jack's vulnerable reality. Can Jack's fractured mind withstand this relentless psychological assault? As Jack continues to fight through the fog, showing terrifying flashes of clarity, Patty and Markham realize that gaslighting alone might not be sufficient. In the darkest corners of their alliance, a far more sinister contingency plan takes shape. If they cannot control Jack's mind, they must control his physical state. Markham, with his access to the hospital's medical supplies, contemplates the unthinkable, administering a subtle, untraceable chemical cocktail designed to induce a deeper, permanent, comatose state. Patty, driven by her psychotic obsession and fear of incarceration, fully supports this monstrous escalation. They are willing to sacrifice Jack's life entirely to protect their freedom. Will anyone detect this lethal medical sabotage before Jack is silenced forever? While Jack fights a silent war for his mind, Diane Jenkins is plunged into an abyss of unparalleled desolation. The walls are closing in with terrifying speed. Detective Burrow, heavily influenced by Markham's corrupt psychological profile and the fabricated evidence, views Diane not as a victim, but as a cold, calculating, attempted murderer. The whispers and judgmental glares of the hospital staff feel like physical blows. But the most agonizing pain comes from her own family. Seeing the doubt in Kyle's eyes, feeling the cold distance from Tracy and Ashley, Diane realizes she is devastatedly alone. She is trapped in a nightmare where the truth is irrelevant and the illusion of her guilt is absolute. How can one woman fight against a conspiracy designed to exploit her every vulnerability. The pressure on Diane reaches an unbearable, explosive breaking point. She knows that Jack's fuzzy memories are the only key to her salvation, but she is barred from seeing him, isolated by the very family she is desperate to protect. She watches helplessly from afar as Markham, the true architect of her misery, dictates Jack's care and manipulates his reality. Diane's desperation turns into a fierce, untamed fury. She realizes that playing by the rules will only guarantee her a prison cell. To survive, to save Jack from the monsters hovering over his bed, and to reclaim her son's trust, Diane must tap into the ruthless survival instincts that defined her past. The stage is set for a psychological war that will tear Genoa City apart. Will Diane's desperate counterattack expose the truth? The tension in Genoa City is a tightly coiled spring, ready to snap with devastating force. Patty Williams and Dr. Lawrence Markham stand on the precipice of their dark victory, their hands hovering over the metaphorical trigger that could silence Jack Abbott forever and send Diane Jenkins to a tragic fate. Jack lies in his hospital bed, a battleground of fragmented memories, his subconscious desperately fighting to bring the truth to light. Diane, cornered and desperate, prepares to unleash a storm of her own to shatter the conspiracy. Kyle Abbott, caught in the agonizing crossfire of lies and loyalty, must make a choice that will define his family's future. When the dust finally settles on this horrific conspiracy, who will be left standing, and what irreversible damage will be inflicted?